What's happening, beautiful people? Happy Sunday. Welcome to Soul Healing Satsang. I am Stacy Patrice, known here on IG as at Soul Yogini SP. I want to welcome you into today's Satsang, today's session. I am very excited to meet with you all today, as usual. But as the week was moving on, I decided that today I would do something a little different than I've done in previous Sundays. And if you've been with me since the beginning, we've been here since March 22nd doing these satsangs. If you are not sure if you caught all of the episodes, they are archived on Rebuild Foundation's website, rebuild-foundation.org. And the full episodes are archived on my site, stacypatrice.com. Catch your snippets, catch your full episode, join us in the conversation. If you are new to the satsang, please be reminded that the comments are there for your engagement, your interaction. So please, by all means, make sure that this is a back and forth conversation, a reciprocal conversation, as opposed to just kind of peering in and listening. Definitely allow your inner self to be seen. Allow your stories to heal others and allow your experiences to color our understanding. So thank you all so much for joining today. I would ask, how was your week? And how have you all been doing? What kind of challenges have you all been encountering? Or what kind of joys have you all been experiencing? Drop those in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I'll check in on that. But before I get too far off of base, I want to make sure that you all understand what today's satsang is about. So I did make a post on my IG saying that I wanted today's satsang to be about respirational rhythms. And I thought this was an important topic for today because I feel like with everything that's going on in the world, how much attention are we giving to our respiratory system? How much love and nourishment and nurturance are we giving to our respiratory process? And then how do we cultivate a space that allows us to continue to support ourselves and have the best possible results as it relates to our respiration? So for those of you who have been with me in yoga, you all know that as it relates to respiration, it's one of the biggest parts of yoga to be able to breathe, to inhale and exhale, to be able to master not only your breathing, but to be able to control and temper your breathing at different points in time, whether that is, just in your daily processes, slowing things down, or whether that is when challenges come, being able to recenter, get back to yourself, and get back to that nice, neutral breathing base that keeps your nervous system calm. And I'll go a little bit into why this is important, because I think breathing is something that people talk about. People always are, catchphrasing, just breathe, just take a deep breath. Breathe, man. Are you breathing? People catchphrase this, but very rarely do I hear people go into the kind of detail that really does break down and explain why breathing as a practice is one of the most important things you can do. You don't have to be a yogi to do it. You don't have to know some elaborate pattern. I will show you a couple today, and we'll get into those as I move along through this explanation. But one of the most important things to remember is that your breath is your vitality. It's your chi, is what's keeping you here. It's how we are experiencing each other. When the breath stops, all stops. And so what you want to make sure is that you realize that when the breathing is compromised, it's one of the last signs that your health is failing. It's one of those last things when you see someone on a respirator, when you see someone needing assistance to breathe, that can be a warning sign that something very troubling is happening. So right now, as all of us are sitting here talking, our breath is just flowing through, right? Our breath is happening, inhaling and exhaling is happening probably without much effort for most people. It is absolutely involuntary, and we are not in control of that just natural breathing pace that we all carry. But one of the things that we want to point out is that when you are in the connection and understanding of how your breath is functioning, if you just tune in and tap into that, you start to understand a lot about your condition. You start to understand when you are calm and when you are pressed. You can even start to understand when you are fidgety, anxious, nervous, And, you know, sometimes when you want to say something, you feel like that throat is about to pop, like you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm about to explode. I want to say something. There are certain states in which your breathing speeds up and other ones in which your breathing is normal, or you can slow it down. And so when we talk about slowing down breathing or controlling the pace or the setting of your breathing, we're talking about more that voluntary breath, that one that you do participate in, the one that you do guide, and the one that you do allow to change the pace a little bit. And so I tell my students all the time, one of the most accessible practices that you can have is to learn how to master your breathing. And I don't want you all to be intimidated by this word master. I want you to look at the word master as an ongoing practice, something that you can do anywhere you are at any time of the day, in any given situation, and then learn to appreciate it and not to take it for granted simply because it is something that you can do at any time, any day, in any situation. So right now, perhaps some of you are, you know, sitting around, maybe have just been in some kind of practice or just been online or talking to someone. I want you to also think about breathing as a gauge, breathing as a litmus test throughout your day, throughout your week. So let's kind of start with people that you talk to. I want to ask you all some questions. Are there people that you talk to that you have noticed change your breathing pattern? If so, you can comment on any of these below. People that you talk to. These may be people that are authorities in your life, that may have some kind of power or authority in your life that can make decisions for you. These might be alerts or notices that you get. It might even be a response to your phone. When your phone dings, there might be a response that changes your breathing, changes your calm. But also looking at those people that are closest to you that call. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you can take a call from someone and you feel completely different when you get off that call than you did before you got on the call? Now, in one instance, you might feel really charged up, like, man, I'm really glad I talked to this person. It was an excellent conversation. And in another instance, you might feel like, man, I should not have answered that call. That was not a good conversation and I didn't see it coming. And so what we want to start to do is bring awareness to our breathing patterns, bring awareness to that breath, and pay attention to those times when we feel heightened and those times when we feel chill, and start to notice what the surroundings or the environment or the people are around those things. And this is so important right now. As most of you know, the virus that is going around is respiratory compromising. So if we are thinking about what are the practices we need to do now, what are the things we need to pay attention to now, we really need to pay attention to that breath. That breath is going to be our greatest oracle. It's going to give us the information we need about how we're performing, how we're behaving, how we're feeling. And so every day you can go into a breath practice and you can check out, you know, not only what sides of your body are, if one side of your body is clear and the other is not. You can also check out if just in general, if you're deep breathing, if you're able to take in a deep inhale, if you're able to sustain a soft, calm exhale. These are all important things, which is why I'm talking about it today. There are so many people, whether they've ever stepped foot in a yoga class or not, the most common complaint that I've had over the last 9 years or so that I've been teaching and working in public spaces with people, with their bodies, teaching yoga and different things, dance as well, is people saying they don't know how to breathe. And, you know, some people would say that's ridiculous. We're already breathing. But what I'm specifically talking about is being able to kind of control that tempo, control that pace. And here is what's in it for you. This is the reason why this is important for you to pay attention to. If you don't know how to control your breathing, then that means whatever is happening to you, you are going on the ride with it. You only have the response to react to it, right? This is very, very important, you all. If, in fact, you cannot get control of your breathing, then you are only reacting to what's happening. The important thing is to be able to respond to what's happening with a masterful technique that allows you to tap into your breath. And if we want to take it a step further, to already have a practice of breathing, that you don't have to wait until something happens to get control of your breath, to always be in breath, to always be in flow, and to always know how you are and be aware of how you feel based on your breathing. So we'll start with something really, really small. In your nervous system, we know the nervous system is how we're able to, process inputs, sensory things, how we're able to, function. Our nervous system gives us all kinds of signals and information all day. But let's think about this for a moment. What if your nervous system is giving you signals and information that's too much? What if you're overloaded, overstimulated? There's too much happening. There are too many people checking in, chiming in, asking questions. There are too many people's, impressions, feelings, business in your personal space. And this is why we say take space to breathe. The more that you take space to breathe, the more you give yourself space to feel what your natural rhythm is. And once you feel what your natural rhythm is, you'll never be confused of whether someone else's energy is yours or whether your energy is yours, right? You'll know what your base point is, and you'll know immediately when you don't feel right and when something is off.